right, good evening, everybody. Today is February 17th, 2022. I am your host. My name is Tad. I also run the website youhavetheright.com, and I am hosting these calls with Chris, these Q&A calls, and we go for about 2 hours a call. And what I do is I take these calls. These calls are free. I host them at TalkShoe.com, and I have the link at the Telegram. And when I get a little more savvy about YouTube, I'll be posting them on YouTube. But what I also do is I take these calls and I break them up by subject and categorize them by subject and put them in the membership of my website, youhavetheright.com. There's a free preview there if you want to look at it. And if you want more reliable notification of these calls, go to youhavetheright.com and join our mailing list. We've had some mailing issues because we just moved our website, and I think we've got them worked out. So by next week, I should be able to be sending out notices again. So get on our mailing list so you can get notifications of these calls or any updates that might be important. So, Chris, thanks for joining us. What's on your mind tonight?
All right. Well, this week's been a little eventful, and the video that I just put out here not too long ago is pertained to the brokerage firm that's going to be handling the issues with the individuals that are having problems with their 1099-A. After I released the video, I read a few of the comments, and most everybody's pretty positive about it. But there are a few people that have some concern, and one of them is a machine, a copying machine that will sign your signature for you, and a lot of people are kind of freaked out about the AI thing, and is this brokerage just going to write all kinds of stuff? No, they're not. They're not going to be able to. You got to realize, folks, that this thing that we're doing, you're going to request that these individuals in this brokerage be your fiduciary, and they understand what a fiduciary is, where the court systems don't, the banking systems don't. And so we understand that. We've already talked about that. The only way that they're going to be able to, because see, they already know that once this is up and running, that they're going to be audited fairly quick, just to make sure that we're doing this right. So they're going to mind their P's and Q's. There will be complete transparency in this thing, because they understand what the position is as a fiduciary obligation. You're only going to be, we spoke about it briefly, they're only going to be able to authorize the signature with your, everyone's going to get issued a PIN number, and every time there's a document that may need to be signed, well, you're going to authorize it with a PIN number, and then there will be a ledger. You may get a monthly copy of the ledger, or you may even be able to link into it and see it in real time. We talked about the security of that, and I'm working on writing the contract, the fiduciary contract. This isn't going to be, they're not going to be able to go crazy with the trust. They're going to do what the beneficiary needs to have done. Unlike a lot of the other people, they know this. There's been some talk with some accountants, and they're kind of funny about things. They're the accountants, I don't know if you've ever met accountants. They're kind of nerdy, and they're real skittish about making sure everything's done right. So when this is up and running, it will be done right. You're going to get you're going to have a better fiduciary relationship with your trustee than probably any other action, like at the hospitals. When you go to the hospital, they don't know they're in a fiduciary obligation.
Right.
Or the lower man on the totem pole doesn't know that. When I bring this up at the VA, the phlebotomist, I went and gave blood. She took some blood after my well visit. I do it once a year. And, I said, now look, you just asked for my the last four. Do you know that you're in a fiduciary obligation now as a trustee? She's like, what are you talking about? So the little man in the corporation that's handling your trust account every day, they have no idea what they're doing. They don't know that that's what they are. When a cop asks you for your driver's license, you don't know that a trust action is being taken place. This brokerage does. They do know this. So there's going to be a lot of safeguards. There's going to be a lot of assurances as to what they are doing for you. There's also some talk of with realtors. This may work in the same way as the brokerage does, but it's going to be completely different. It's going to be separated from it because that's not what the brokerage deals with. They don't deal with real estate. So, but they are talking with individuals in the real estate, putting them up on this. And I'm sure once the accountants are on board, this will be a roll. Well, we'll be rolling with this. But I wanted to speak briefly on that. And I also did a video, remade the video because a lot of people was wondering what happened to it after I took it down, about the claim of lien. And so I did that video there. That's what I've done this week other than, do stuff around the house. When it rains, it pours. I'm fixing the water problem, and then the washing machine tears up, and then the Jeep tore up and it wouldn't start. And my wife doesn't like anybody to mechanically touch the vehicles because she only likes me to do it, or her father, and her father passed away a few years ago, so I'm the only one there. She doesn't trust mechanics. She's like me. She doesn't trust mechanics. So I end up doing it, but I'm not. I told her, I said, if I'm going to have to take this starter out, this thing's going on a rollback. I'm not playing around with that. Luckily, it was something else, and I got the problem fixed. It only cost $40. But it takes time. It takes time away from what I'm trying to do. Family takes time away. And I got to kind of balance all this stuff out with the family. And, I was standing out in the driveway last night till 1 o'clock in the morning talking on the phone. I talk with a lot of you all. I wish I could talk with more. I wish I could do a lot more one-on-one. But I'm getting to the point where I'm really being selective of the messages that are being sent. People are still writing incredibly long books. Today I got half a dozen of them, but I'm not going to take the care and the time that I have. I just can't do it.
So I'd like to interrupt about that.
Yeah.
That's what these calls are for, and so people can talk to you about their case, because there might be 30 unique different kind of cases, but once you go through them all, you've gone through them all. And so we can showcase them here at this call And the recordings are free. You can listen to them, or if you want to save time, that's what my website's about, because I'll take these calls, like tonight's call, I might break up into 10 different parts and categorize them so that you don't have to listen to 2 hours worth of calls to get what you want. You can go to my website and find out, well, what about, conditional acceptance? How do you write it? I've got a whole category just on that. So, of people on these calls asking questions. So you may not be available, but there are resources available to help people do that.
Oh, absolutely. The big Telegram, I went through there a while back in a lot of the files, and a lot of them don't even need to be in there. They don't have nothing to do with what we're doing. Exactly. And so people get frustrated when they go in there. And hopefully I'll have some time, a little downtime where I can go in and look at every one of them and start getting them out of there. I'm sharing a lot more of the different conditional acceptances. I've got the one on the VAX. I've got it ready to share. I've got child support and traffic, and I've got a claim of lien. I've got it all to where I can send it out, and I've shared a lot of those in the Telegram. I posted them in the Telegram. I don't know if they went into the files in all of them. I'm assuming that the two smaller ones probably have, because those guys are really on it. Kudos to the conditional acceptance Telegram and Save Our Ship. There's a lot of talk in them about the foreclosures, and that's disgusting. These foreclosures that are happening around here, it's completely disgusting and totally uncalled for. You buy your house and it's paid for. Look at the word closing. Look at the legal definition of the word closing. It's done. That's basically what it means. It's done. And the banks, the corruption. I spoke last night with one of the ladies that's been watching the videos, and I had a really long conversation with her. It was very interesting. She showed me some stuff on her that she's worked on over the years, and I was really impressed by a lot of this stuff. But we're all kooky. Every one of us is kooky. We're so into what it is that we know about that we really come off as crazy to a lot of folks. And the crazy guy is always comfortable in the nut house. That's why I enjoy spending so much time with all my crazy friends out here.
Yeah, exactly.
And the sad thing is it's the crazy people who are really the sane ones in our situation.
Right.
It's that's what's happened with me over the last week. I still get a lot of grief, about what I am doing here. But I'm hoping in the end that a lot of people, maybe even one day they put my house on the historical landmark site or something. I don't know. I don't know. I hope it goes that way. There's a lot of problems with our country. A lot of problems.
Yep.
That we're the only ones. I've always said when Trump was hollering, I'm going to Washington, D.C., and I'm draining the swamp. No, you're not. A politician cannot go to Washington and change Washington. We are the only ones that can go to Washington and change Washington. No one person can go up there and make that kind of a change. Now, did he do a good job? I think he did. Way better job than this freaking clown we got in there now. But it's still the same, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, he was 4 years in there.
No, it's not. It's not still the same. It's actually worse.
It's worse, yeah. I mean, he went in there and for 4 years turned a lot of stuff around. You know, I commend him for what that he did. But it's just like this. They couldn't have that. There's coming a time when we're going to have to get Thomas Jefferson on their ass.
Yep.
And it's coming. It's coming. You folks would not believe how many people that I've talked to that have told me of some of the, you know, the evil things that they're doing. And it's totally believable because I've seen it with my own eyes. It is time for a revolution. And they know that.
Yeah.
That's why they try to keep us separated all the time. You know, they want the races fighting each other. They want the gangbangers. When I was in jail with all four of the gangs in one big pod. And I had a sit down with a bunch of the OG, and I said, "Look, man, you know, I know you guys are out here fighting for your territory and, you know, your money. But you know you're doing what the police want you to do. You're fighting each other. You're killing each other. You got the wrong enemy, man. If you guys would band together, there wouldn't be a cop one." I said, if you guys would band together and police your own neighborhoods and stop the crime in your own neighborhoods, there wouldn't be any need for the funding of new police. And then as they seen that they didn't need the police, next thing you know, there wouldn't be any. If you police your own communities, you guys already got your territories split up. Why don't you police your own? You run the crime out of your own community, and there won't be a need for. And then there won't be any police shootings.
Yeah.
I know that's a pipe dream, because they won't. You know, I've sat down with some seriously powerful OGs in the Nashville gang scene, and talk to them about this. You know, you guys get together. There was a movie in the '80s that came out. It's called The Warriors. I don't know if a lot of you old timers remember it. And there was it started out with a big gang meeting. All the gangs met in a coliseum, and the leader of the big gang was Cyrus, and that's what he was telling them. This is in the '80s. Hey guys, get together. Let's all stop fighting each other, you know, and fight the police. And they shot him over. That's how the whole movie kind of went down. So you know, that's what we need to do. We need to get together and change this country, and this may be one way to do it.
So Mindy is here. She has her hand raised. Would you like to talk to her?
Yeah. Put Mindy on. Let's find out what happened today. Miss Mindy.
Hi. Thank you, Tad and Chris, for this weekly show. So Chris taught me how to write a conditional acceptance, which I used on a false arrest case a year ago. Tomorrow will be a year ago. I was arrested at a grocery store on the masking issue, despite the fact that the store gave me permission to shop without a mask. So this was a political trespass charge against me. But suffice it to say, I've been struggling to get this case thrown out, fired 4 court-appointed attorneys or liars, and it wasn't until I found Chris's YouTube videos in early January that I learned how to deny jurisdiction in this puny little municipal court action. And it's been going well. I'm not in jail or paying a fine or guilty, but it's just gone from the absurd to the macabre. So I served as conditional acceptances in early January, and this so-called trial took place without me. The administrator, who's not a judge, but she sits in the tribunal, she told me I had to put a mask on, and I told her I can't. And the 6 cops had me pulled from the room. They threw me in another courtroom and proceeded to throw the last fired court-appointed attorney at the desk of the defendant, and they proceeded to have the trial with me in absentia locked in a next-door courtroom. I mean, it was really crazy. But that's the power of the conditional acceptance. Since then, they did end up not going through with the whole trial. They canceled it after the first day, but they had a special hearing. It was supposed to be a Zoom hearing yesterday, and I won't do those anymore because the last one that I supposedly attended, the court kept cutting off my mic, and so my transcript is useless that I paid for. So I go to the courthouse yesterday. I'm prevented from walking into the lobby without a mask, and we go up to the counter to get the court administrator or the clerk, somebody to help me get a in-face, person-to-person hearing, and they all run like cockroaches to the back of the office. I'm tapping on the window. They won't even acknowledge me. They just run. So about 9 cops show up after I tried to call in on the Zoom, and there was nobody there. There were names up, but there was no video, no audio. It was all the characters, and myself included, but they weren't talking. And this went on for 10, 15 minutes. All of a sudden, there's 9 cops coming upstairs into the lobby. They come after all of us. We're just standing there talking, and the cops remove everybody. They arrested myself and an elderly woman, accusing us of assaulting or harassing is the term, the security guy, and we didn't touch him. But, I'm just saying all this because they arrested us, and instead of charging us with the municipal court, the police department handed our cases over to the district attorney because we haven't conditionally accepted the county. We hadn't needed to until now. So my question to you, Chris, is a friend of mine told me earlier after we talked a little bit that I should send a demand cease and desist letter to the district attorney, just to tell them, it's a woman, that she needs to not prosecute this case. And that would be kind of like the first step, and then do as you say, which is a conditional acceptance on her.
Yes.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, that woman is nasty.
That.
That woman's nasty. She prosecutes all kinds of innocent people.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Well, everyone's innocent.
Yeah.
Because actually she's not prosecuting anyone. She's prosecuting everyone's trust. They do this to children. They charge children, and then they hide the charges. And then they wait till they're 18 and then bring them up on them. The lady I talked to last night, we talked a lot about that. You can submit whatever you want to them, Mindy. But I would remind them in any document that Eugene owes you money, and the court owes you money. The cop that was getting paid to harass you and push you around is getting paid by the people that owe you money. That's what the conditional acceptance will do. That's why they handed it over to the state. and the county to handle. They couldn't do it in the municipality because the municipality owes their money. They're completely biased. Like I said, we got cut off. My phone went totally dead while I was underneath the Jeep there talking to you. And so I had to plug it up, take it in and plug it up. So I'm sorry we got cut off. But that's what I would do. Mindy, I would start working on the conditional acceptance tomorrow. Take a little time off and take a breather from your trauma because they traumatized you. Yep. They kidnapped you. To take and hold someone using unlawful force is kidnapping. They took you to jail for something that isn't even a misdemeanor. Disturbing the peace. It's like traffic violations, y'all. You can't, well, I shouldn't say you can't because they do it all the time. They're not supposed to be able to arrest you for a traffic violation. They're not supposed to do that. Even if it's reckless driving or something. As long as there's no victim, there's no crime. And that's what they did to you. He didn't even tell you that you had to leave, did he?
No.
There you go.
They didn't want me to leave.
No, they wanted to take you to jail. They tried to scare you. Now it's your turn to scare them. Scare them.
Should I also include the sergeant who I've been dealing with from the police department, who really he's the one who directed the cops to get me in the trial in the courtroom. He's just
absolutely
a jerk.
Anybody involved. Anybody involved. If they even so much as winked at you, get their name and their badge number. Because you got to remember, with the conditional acceptance, they are going to contractually agree that they did. That's why, Mindy, you're going to use words like, I was kidnapped, and then I was taken off to the jail, and I was pushed around, and I was handcuffed. I was enslaved, right? I was put in shackles. I was enslaved. They took me in a room, and they felt me all up and down. That's sexual assault. They made me strip down in front of them. That's sexual assault and battery. When we were in jail, they were training some new guards, and they had 10 of them go into the day room. And the day room was between the bunk room and the hallway with the cop desk at. And they could see all the way through because there's glass windows all the way through. And they picked out 10 or 12 guys in the pod and made them come into the day room where we eat and, where we watch the one TV. And they had these guys stand in a row and strip down just so they could show these new guards how you strip search somebody. That's sexual assault. If they take and hold you using unlawful force, they've kidnapped you. If they so much as touch you, they've assaulted you. If they've had you disrobed, that's sexual assault. I don't care if they say, well, it was a girl that did it. She's a female, and we have female guards do it. Yeah, female guards are lesbians. Male guards are gay. Well, there's nothing sexual about it. Well, why did you fondle my genitals? And they get away with this. And it's, you're not even charged. You're not even charged. You were charged with nothing. Your trust was.
Right.
I'm glad you signed all the papers like you should.
With the beneficiary?
And I would get on it. Yeah, absolutely. And here's the thing, Mindy. Did you do the city for $6 million?
The city itself? Or
when you were doing when you were doing the first set of liens, it was $3 million, right?
$3 million, yeah.
Okay, everybody this time gets 6.
I like that.
Okay, everybody gets 6 this time.
Multiple
you want to mess
3.
around? Yeah, the Stefazio numbers. That's why I like them. And next time, it's going to be 12. What you're going to do is you're going to show these pricks what they try to slick around and scare you out of doing what you're doing. And you know that you're right with what you're doing because they had to bring the sheriff after you. They had to bring the county and the state after you. They couldn't go after you yourself. I read an email just not even 2 hours ago where someone had did this. And they went in and into the courtroom and said, look, y'all owe me freaking shitload of money. I don't even know what the hell we're doing in here. I guess you want to make me an offer to settle, right? And they dismissed everything, threw it all out. Oh. Get out of here. Because they know they can't. So you do the conditional acceptance, you double the money. The sheriff's going to get hit with the $6 million. The prosecutor, the clerk. Get everybody in the circuit court. If you can, find out who the judge is. Call down there and say, who's the judge? They're probably not going to tell you because they're going to know that's what you're getting ready to do. But what you could do, here's what you could do, okay? You find out every judge that's sitting on that circuit court, every one of them, and then you include them in the conditional acceptance, along with the clerk and along with the prosecutor. And then all you have to do is say, if you are a judge, in the body of in the conditions, right? If you are one of the judges in the circuit court that doesn't hear this case, you will be excluded from the $6 million.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you include everybody, if you serve everybody, every one of the judges, say you got 4 judges in the circuit court, serve them all. Okay, because you're getting the clerk. That means any judge that could fall underneath. And then what you do is, because you don't know which judge it is, serve them all. And then say, whichever judges exclude theirself from this farce, you can disregard. That'll be one of the conditions. If you're a judge that doesn't accept this case, then you will be excluded from these lien securities.
Oh, that's perfect.
And then that way you'll start having judges go, hell no. Once they read it, if they know that the city's having that problem, they're going to go, hell no, I'm not taking that. I'm not taking that. You're already slammed, clerk, prosecutor. You're already hit. You ain't got somebody to step in here and take your place. No, I'm not listening to that one. And she'll have to force it, whoever the clerk is, they'll have to force the judge. If all 4 of them say, hell no, I'm not touching that shit, then she'll have to force one to. You guys better draw straws. One of y'all is going to go hear this. Well, there's going to be, that way you're catching them all. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That's the thing about a conditional acceptance. You can add people that aren't even involved, but exclude them in your conditions. But I would work on that, Mindy. I would work on that. And tell everybody about the bail situation.
Oh, so I was sitting in jail, and my husband went to the counter to see what the deal was for my release, and they told him that they had a $20,000 bond on me, and he had to come up with $2,000 for the bail. But he luckily did not pay it, and about an hour later, they're waiting out in the hallway, and I'm released. So I don't understand why they told him that, and yet they just released me, I guess, on my own recognizances.
Well, it would say that on the bond. Does it say that on the bond?
It does not. It's a conditional release document. That's all it says on there.
Hey, you know what? You probably didn't even get a bond.
Oh.
You might want to look at that. You may not have even got a bond.
So on the back it says, it does mention money. It says, I will be subject to arrest and revocation of my release if I fail to appear as required. If the court finds that I have violated conditions of the release agreement or other active release agreements or have been charged with a new crime, my release will be revoked and a warrant issued for my arrest. Failure to appear is punishable as a separate crime with 5 years in prison and $125,000 fine for felony, or 1 year in prison and $6,250 fine for a misdemeanor. If I fail to keep the court informed in writing of my correct mailing address, I will not get notices advising me of court dates that would not be an excuse for a failure to appear. If I have been released on security, the court will keep as a fee 15% for the security deposit. And if I violate this agreement, the deposit will be forfeited and a judgment entered against me for the entire security amount, which is 10 times the security deposit amount.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's crazy.
So
we're going to release you on bond, but we're not going to call it a bond.
Right.
Oh, and by the way, you don't have to pay. We're going to call it a release agreement.
Yeah.
Which you signed beneficiary, correct?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Well, they just agreed that it was a trust action. When
Awesome.
they accepted that, they agreed it was a trust action. Now you can say, well, it's all a trust. Everything's a trust action.
Okay.
They will, if they create bonds, they're admitting that they're creating them against the trust. They won't be able to back out of that.
Oh, good.
You notice how they said me? You said me a lot.
Yeah.
Who's me?
Yeah.
Who's the real party in interest here that's supposed to be obeying this document here that was signed under duress?
Yep.
You know, they know it's a bullshit piece of paper is what it is.
Yeah.
You hit them.
Okay.
You know, like the gangsters used to say, you send one of ours to the hospital, we're going to send one of yours to the morgue.
Oh, yikes.
That's the way you have to play with these folks. Once you get them against the ropes, don't stop pounding.
Okay.
We don't never defend. We are never defendants, ever. A defendant is a title. We are never to defend. Think about it this way, folks. If you go in there and you say, I'm the defendant, right? Well, then all you can do is defend.
Right.
And actually, defend is defense, right? Defense. That means to take away the fence. Take away the security you have around you.
Oh.
If you're defending, think about it this way. If me and you are in a fight, and all I can do is, and you say, look, me and you are going to fight, but all you can do is defend yourself, okay? Or do you agree to that? And I say, yeah, I'll agree to that. Guess who's going to get their ass whooped? Me. Because if all you do is, I'm pretty good at blocking punches and stuff like that, but sooner or later, one of those are going to land. and I'm carrying an ass whooping. And I can't punch back. I've heard some of these gurus say, well, you got to go in there and you got to be a friend of the court, and you can't be a belligerent claimant. No, that's exactly what you have to be. I'm here to fight. You bring me in here, I'm gonna fight you. I'm gonna whoop your ass in the black robe, and that's what you're going to do. You got them on the ropes. They had to go plumb out of the city. They are in a municipal courtroom with a municipal cop or guard or whatever. And like you said, they scared. They don't even want to talk to you. Why? Why? Because if they interact with you, they've already agreed that you can do it to them again. Kudos, Mindy. You're
Thank
a
you for
you're my champion, Mindy.
So Mindy,
thank you for teaching me. Yeah.
Mindy, who else is there with you?
My husband.
Okay.
And that's it.
I'm
sounds
glad
like you got a crowd there that's cheering you on.
I'm glad your husband's on your side. Thanks, Sandy. You're a hell of a man. You're an amazing dude.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate all of your education, knowledge, and help.
You're awesome, Chris.
You're more than welcome, man. You're more than welcome.
All right, man.
I hope I can get out there. Soon and hang out with y'all.
We'd love it. Please do.
Yeah,
all right,
it's
Mindy,
coming.
Thanks for sharing your story.
Thank you, Chad.
All right, bye-bye.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got somebody in Tallahassee. When your phone unmutes, it's your turn.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
All right.
Hey, how are you doing today, Chris?
All right. Are you in South Tallahassee?
No, I'm actually just north of Panama City. I've got a Google phone number.
Okay. I'm a big Aerosmith fan, so when you said Tallahassee, I thought of South Tallahassee. Yeah.
All right. So what's on your mind tonight?
Well, I've got an issue that I'm trying. I really need some advice on. I'll give you a short breakdown. I've got my youngest daughter who just turned 18 in January, lives in an independent living facility that assists with mental and behavioral issues. And she's been Baker acted, and we've had real issues with this, with our daughter. And we had her removed from the home, and her caseworker wants me to contact SSI and to become, my wife, and to become a payee since she's mentally, she can't be trusted to do anything proper. And she just turned 18. The lady said that she spoke with the Social Security lady who handles the master trust account and says that we need to contact the SSI people and apply to be the payee. And once set up, they'll close the master account and send any money in the account back to SSI, and then they'll send it to the payee. What do you recommend we do with this?
Well, I would constantly remind them of their fiduciary responsibility, especially when you're dealing with the Social Security. It works real well with the VA. I've done it multiple times. Anytime I get a hassle with anything at the VA hospital, I remind them that they're in a fiduciary responsibility to the trust, and they have to do what's beneficial. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to be reminding them that they are fiduciaries in your daughter's trust, and that she is incapable of acting in the proper beneficiary position. So you are there as her father to make sure that they are acting in their fiduciary responsibility. And if they do anything that isn't beneficial, they're malfeasant in office. I can't stress that enough, folks. These people will flip on you when you break that out. They're so used to pushing you around. Social Security, they're so used to pushing people around. I got out of jail, and within 30 hours, I was in front of the Social Security people. And I asked them, I said, well, I got signed back up on my Social Security, and, what kind of back pay check am I going to get? Oh, well, you don't get no back pay check for being in prison. Oh, you ain't getting no back pay check. I said, bet, watch me. And I busted them out. I put her in a position where she finally got a chance in all her years of working to learn what she's supposed to really do in her job. You're a fiduciary. You're a trustee in my trust. If you don't do what's beneficial, I am going to charge you with malfeasance of office, which is a felony. Let me get my manager. The manager comes over, and I tell him the same thing. Oh, no, we don't do that. This was on a Wednesday. I got released on a Tuesday, and on a Wednesday morning, I was down there at Social Security office telling the manager, hey, you're a trustee in a fiduciary obligation, buddy. Now tell me that I'm not going to get my back pay when all these crimes were committed against me in the first place. No, buddy. And he was going, no, you're not going to get it. You're not going to get it. I said, bet, watch me. By Friday afternoon, I had a check for over $16,000 in my trust, in my beneficiary account. When you bust them out like that, they learn real quick. And I'm sure some of them don't even know what fiduciary means. But I guarantee you what, hey, Google, so what's a fiduciary? And when they see this, they can't deny it. That's where this is at, folks. If you want the power, then you have to understand. That's what I tell everybody. And, man, you got to learn trust law. Forget about all this, the CFRs and the codes and the rules and regulations. Forget about all that crap. Learn what your responsibility is and your position is as the beneficiary, and learn what they're supposed to do, and then put them in the spot. These dealerships that people are taking their 1099As to, they go in there, and, hey, man, I got this tax document here, and, I want to get a car, and blah, blah, blah. Oh, we don't take that. Well, you took my application. You agreed to be a fiduciary, a trustee in a fiduciary obligation. Now, what do you mean? You don't want to work now? You don't want to do your job? They don't understand that. These slick daddy greaseback salesmen, they don't understand that. It's a little more effective in the real estate market because they do understand that. Real estate agents do understand what it means to be a fiduciary. A lot of them will tell you that. Oh, yeah, I know I'm a fiduciary. The minute I take your application, a lot of them know that because a lot of those real estate agencies take 1099As.
Really?
They may take them. Oh, yeah. They take them for other, if you have a trust, say you got a rich Uncle Joe, and you have a trust, they're going to file a 1099A on the money they take from your rich Uncle Joe's trust. They know this.
So,
When you read the instructions to the 1099A and the 1099C, it says who must file. So it'll say mostly financial institutions. All right? Well, when you're doing a mortgage, you're dealing with straight with the financial institution, where dealerships aren't. Dealerships put that off on someone else. Let me see out here who will give you. They may run your application by a half a dozen different finance companies before they find one that'll finance you. Real estate state agencies don't do that. They don't bounce them off a bunch. They run your credit, and then they go, okay, we got 3 institutions here. Let's see which one will get us the best interest rate. They don't do it like so. The dealerships, the slick Johnny car salesman, he doesn't know about the finance world like a real estate agent would. That's why they work so much better. But they all must file. They must file. Look at what that word means.
So,
in Dude's case, Tad, let them do what they try to do, and when it doesn't jive, bust them straight out. Hey, man, no, you can't do that. You're neglecting your fiduciary obligation.
What they're
I guess I need to
do is close down the account, close down the master account for her, and become the payee. I know in some of your videos you said, at 18 you're supposed to close it out and collect the money, and then at 65, that's what they're wanting us to do with her account, the master account for my daughter.
Okay, tell them you want an on-ledger and off-ledger account of the trust. Say, okay, is that what you really want to do? Absolutely. The thing that I'm telling y'all, I'm glad that you're in the situation you are, because a lot of 18-year-olds aren't savvy to do this. They're just their brains aren't really set up to do it. Some of them are. Some of them are pretty intelligent. But here you have a perfect opportunity to do this. Say, okay, if you're going to do that, if you're going to shut down the account or close the account because she's 18 and pay it out, I want an on-ledger and an off-ledger account of the trust. And I want to know every time if they're putting you in the position as beneficiary because she's incapable of being the beneficiary, then tell them it's in her best interest that she gets an on-ledger and off-ledger account of the trust so that I can find out who's used her trust. I want to know every time her Social Security number was accessed. Because what they're saying is we're going to prematurely mature the trust. Prematurely. And now you can go in there because you can do that, and you're acting as power of attorney more or less. You can say, I want an on-ledger and an off-ledger account of the trust. And I want to know every time it was accessed. It's going to take a little while for them to do this. And I want to check for the balance, because what you're about to find out is the government's been putting lots of money in her trust. That's what's paid for everything.
And that's
she's special.
When we find out that information, we'll definitely, I'll definitely let you know what was said and done. But I didn't know the term payee is that different than beneficiary or guardian, or just because I want
that's payee. The payee is just the one that's supposed to get paid. There's a payor and a payee, but there is a beneficiary because all Social Security accounts or beneficiary accounts are all Cestui Que Trust. Tell them that. So yeah, I got a bit of problem. But what I need is an on-ledger and an off-ledger account of the trust. Because think about it this way, dude. All these years she hasn't worked. She probably hasn't worked a job, right?
Yeah, she's never worked. She's never done anything but school and get in trouble with doctors.
Yeah, she's got special needs. And she's been to doctors and she's probably been to mental health professionals, and they've all accessed her trust to pay for everything. Where's that money come from?
what comes from her?
Where'd that money come from? If she never had a job to put money into it, well, then her on ledger should be zero.
Right.
How can they close a trust that's got $0 in it and then call you a payee?
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of wondering. And if they're putting millions of dollars in this and collecting compounding interest, there should be quite a bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, wonder no more, dude.
Okay, sir, does that answer your question?
Yeah. How would I enforce them to do the on ledger, off ledger?
It's matured. If you're saying if the Social Security Administration is going to say, we're going to mature this trust and we're going to pay it out and we're going to close it. Okay, but I want to know, because you're in she's not in a beneficiary position anymore. When they do that, if they're going to close the trust, there's not going to be a beneficiary anymore. And if that's the case, then the beneficiary has the right. In a trust, y'all, the beneficiary cannot make any decisions for the trust, nor can they know what's in the trust until it matures. This is all trust law, bro. If you take the time between now time that they get ready to meet with you and blow your mind away with some trust law, you will be able to go in on these people and you'll have them shaking by the time the conversation's over. Okay, yeah, sure. Think about that, man. Your daughter has paid $0 into a trust that they're saying we want to pay you from. How do you do that? That's your proof that there is an off-ledger account. And that's how I would argue it. Well, wait a minute. If my daughter's never paid into it, then there is no on-ledger. That means there can only be an off-ledger. There's an opposite to everything. Okay? Everything has an opposite. And the trust does too. It's got an on and it's got an off. If it's matured, now you need to pay me. And because it's matured, now the beneficiary has the right to know what happened every single time that the trust was accessed. That's how the beneficiary gets to account for how the trust was taken care of. And if one person steals from the trust, it's prison time. It's fraud. I would about bet you that they will reverse it, or they're going to pay you. Oh, well, we're just going to pay you. Think about that, man. How are they going to pay you? It'd be like, hey, dude, I got $0 in my bank account. I've never had put any money in it. But here, let me give you a check for $5,000.
All right, so we do have a lot of people in the queue right now that are waiting.
All right.
Okay,
well, thank
you. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, learn trust law, bro. Everybody.
All right, thank you. Okay, Dr. Thomas, you're next. Your phone just unmuted.
Okay. All right, there we go. Hi, Chris. How are you? How's everyone else?
Hey, good evening.
Good evening, sir. So there are a number of things. I'm just going to try and narrow it down and see if you can narrow it down a bit. My situations deal mainly with housing. I really am. I have a realtor in Texas. I'm in New Jersey, across from Philadelphia, and my father will be 91 on March 8th. My mother's 86, and he's in a nursing home. I hate the fact that he's there. They don't do a great job. My mother's in a senior building, and I'm trying to really get us, under one roof where, I could have assisted living there, I love to garden. When I have a small farm, blah, 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 blah. I have lots and lots of projects. I'm connected with a lot of people, a lot of projects, but, these monies just haven't been released. The platforms, we've been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And here you come on the scene. And I feel like this is, the answer. I was involved in this stuff a long time ago. But what I really want to do is with your assistance, I'm not sure whose assistance other than you, work with the realtor. She is amenable. She wants to help me help some others. I have people who want to do homeless veteran facilities. There's a gentleman in Florida. It all has to do with real estate, Chris. I want to get my parents under one roof. It's hard. I'm an only child, and it's really hard on me to go in one direction and another direction, and I'm talking about physical driving. My mother 30 minutes away to my right. My father 12 minutes-ish or so, the nursing home, and when they both need you. My father has dementia. It's mild, but it's enough. Then I have his dog. I love the dog, but it's trying to study and trying to make money and and it's really draining. Sir, it's really draining me. I'll be 58 in April, and I love my parents. They're still vibrant. I want to help the homeless vets. I don't like that people don't have a home. I've asked the realtor if she would help me find abandoned buildings, and so we can house people. But I literally have a gentleman in Florida who he wants to build 500, 200-bed facilities for homeless vets all across the country. And I just need to know how, move forward. I know that my father and everyone else that is getting a Social Security check, his is SSI, my mother's is the regular SS. They're supposed to have what I understand is 20 times the amount, if not more. This little, excuse me, everyone, this little pissant amount of money that, people are getting every month, from $700 to maybe, $2,500, depending on what job they did, if they were executives, I'm saying that, maybe $2,500 or so, maybe $3,000, but that's nothing compared to what they used to make.
Yeah. And
the car thing, I love the fact we're gonna participate in that. I have a Lexus LX 470. It's a 2000, but it just got tuned up, and it's a great car. I don't need a car.
Yeah, they are.
I don't. What I mean? It runs. I think this thing's going to last for another 20 years or so. I don't need a car. What I'd like is an RV. That would be fine. I don't need a boat. I don't need I don't, what I'm saying, sir? So my thing is housing, because even with an RV, I could at least live there. But I would like for you to help me to help other people. I'm tired. Yeah. I'm tired. I'm an only child, and I'm tired. I don't mean that.
It's stressful.
I'm so sorry. I listen to your videos.
Take a deep breath, buddy. Take a deep breath.
I listen to
really
the videos. I want my parents under my roof. I want to do my aquaponics and hydroponics and my fish farm on my own property. There's no way
buddy.
They should have ever told us. They should have never, ever said to the people around the world that they were going to hold back food. You fuckers. How are you going to hold back food from people? How are you going to do that? And and then look at yourself in the mirror. Maybe they don't have an image that reflects back. So I'm just asking for your help. Whatever I know, I learn, so I can pass it on to the next person. But we have to understand we can't bombard. Like when you get a realtor, everybody can't just go rushing to that realtor and rushing to that car dealership. I'm so glad you did it the way you're doing it now with the brokerage firm. Yeah. But I ask you for your assistance because I'm tired. I'm literally tired.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I am too.
Having to go running from one end of New Jersey to the other end. I brought my father down from North Jersey, closer to New York, which is where I was born. My mother lived down in South. She was born and raised in South Jersey, and she went up to North Jersey, after in her 20s, and then she married my father. They got divorced, and she brought me back down to her hometown. He stayed in North Jersey, but when I couldn't keep running back and forth 4-hour round trip, so I brought him to the nursing home down here. And you can't go into nursing. I didn't see my father for over a year because they had him. This is like, and it's not just me. Other people, other people on this call, their parents or uncles or aunts. You couldn't see them, and that's just such a crime. So I don't know, sir. I don't know how. Yeah. I don't know. There are a lot of people that want to tug, that need your help, and I don't know. I just get in line, But I'm tired. I'm an only child. I'm just tired. I'm tired.
I hear you.
Well, perhaps with this new program that you got coming on, that could help her out quite a bit.
Well, yeah, and here's a little glimpse of hope, folks. The guys I've been talking to about this, they were speaking to a company that builds prefab units, and they build them, they fabricate them, and get this, they're from China. These units are from China. They're prefab, and they bring them here. They're supposed to be handle hurricane force winds, and they can put them up in they put up a huge complex of these things in 300 hours. And so this is the thing. These are the kind of things that we need. We need people out there with ingenuity that want to build these things. Tad's got a fantastic idea about building his self-sustainable community. A lot of people are. A lot of folks have moved off grid. And think about that. Why? Why is everybody moving off grid? Because they're sick and tired of the bullshit. But instead of fighting it, they're running off to the chicken farm somewhere. Well, I'll just tend to myself. If people thought like that in the Revolutionary War, we would still be God saving the Queen and all that shit. That's where that's at. I totally feel for you all, man. I really do.
Can I tell you something, Chris?
Yeah, go ahead.
The realtor that I'm working with, we're working with one of my friends, colleagues. He invented foam and steel 30 years ago. She's literally today. We had a call around 10 o'clock. He needs a building. This is what I'm saying, that I want to bring projects to the table that'll benefit everyone. Not just, I need, a house for mom and dad. Yes, I do. But we need to build these factories. He can build the prototype factory. It's just the money getting started. So I knew about the process because you brought it back to the table. I was involved in all of this, 10, 12, 15 years or so ago. We got some things through, and then, then you got the frivolous filing, and then we had to reverse those, and everyone's like, oh, it's not going to work. And then when students, you said what you said, I said, oh, that's what's missing. But we can build the factories that build 225,000 homes per year. So when I'm asking for assistance, I bring things like that to the table, like the gentleman who invented it, and because he didn't know enough about business, he had other people take advantage of him, and they went on to use the technology for making homes. You know, they do all right, but his is to actually build the factory. So we need the building. That's what the realtor is out there looking for. She started today in Texas, looking for the place, looking for land for him with the building on it. I just need to be able to access those, you know, his funds and my funds, so we can get that started right here on this land. We have contracts with the UN. We can get the contracts with the UN for the countries that want his technology. So I bring that to the table as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
That's why I need that realtor. That's why I need that realtor to know that she's in the fiduciary, you know, position, and how do I help her get these, you know, documents through? So I'm gonna. Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna ask you. I may not be on the call again, or I may not have the opportunity, you know, soon.
Yeah. Yeah, I got
how
you.
How do I get you? How do I get you, sir, one-on-one?
You contact me.
Yeah. You can get on Tad's site there, and we'll get together. Look, y'all. Here's the big thing.
How do I contact you, sir? The other one.
Hey, here.
YouHaveTheRight.com.
Yeah, YouHaveTheRight.com. Listen, folks, here's my email. My email is Christopher Hauser, just like on the videos. One word, 248@gmail.com. It takes a little while. It may be a couple of days because I get 300 emails a day sometimes before I can get around to you. But look, y'all, the biggest problem it seems like that people are having with the 1099A is the dealerships will go, hey, we have to know how much is in the trust. The real estate people will go, well, you'll have to prove how much is in the trust. Well, that's not your responsibility. It is not your responsibility to show them how much is in the trust. Matter of fact, if they knew trust law, they wouldn't even be asking you that question. They would know that you don't know. But what they can do is go to the Social Security Administration, or even better yet, they can go to the Treasury, and they can say, look, I am a trustee in this beneficiary trust. Here's the number. Here's their birth date. Here's their mother's maiden name, and I need to know, is there, say you're buying a house, is there at least $100,000 or $260,000 in the trust to cover this property? And they'll tell you. They won't tell me. I can't go to the Treasury and go, here's my trust number. Can you tell me, can you give me an on ledger and off ledger? They're going to say, no, dude, don't you understand trust law? You can't do that, but the trustees can. It's like when you go to have your credit report, they do this for you. The trustees do this for you. They can tell you what's up in there, what's up in your credit. Why? Because they have access to it. Because they're trustees in the fiduciary obligation, whether they realize it or not, they are. You can't do that. You can't go to, if you tell these real estate people, look, I can't tell you how much is in there. Matter of fact, you're going to call and find out that you don't know the balance. But what you can find out is there enough money to cover the price of this car? to cover the price of this house, to cover the price of this RV, to cover the price of this hospital bill. They do it. Hospitals do it all the time. If a hospital or a court, like it says in the directions of the 1099A, 1099C, it says they must file. How is it that a court can file a 1099A without having to know how much is in the trust? It's the same thing for the banks. It's the same thing for the car dealerships. It's the same thing for the real estate people. Why does the government and trustees acting in their fiduciary responsibility can file a 1099A without knowing how much is in the trust, and you can't, or the dealership can't, or the accountant at the dealership can't? That's how I would respond. If the dealership guy told me, yeah, we can do this, but we just have to know how much is in your trust. Well, if they knew trust law, they wouldn't be asking the beneficiary that. If it was a regular trust, rich Uncle Joe, the beneficiary's not going to know how much is in the trust. They got to get a trustee to tell them, yeah, there's enough money, we can cover that purchase. Because the dealerships are used to doing it that way. They're used to doing rich Uncle Joe's trust fund, not the Social Security account. That's why real estate agencies are having an easier time understanding what it is when you say this. They're used to doing that. They're used to doing the trust fund buy a house thing.
Okay, so ma'am, does that answer your question?
Yeah, but one other question with respect to like the dealerships and a follow up and the realtors when they're asking, Chris, when they ask for an earnest deposit, down payment, then what do you say?
I'm the beneficiary. You'll have to get that from the trust. Look, if they're asking you for money when they can access it themselves, that's not acting in a fiduciary responsibility. It's not.
What do you mean that they can access it themselves?
They're supposed to be able to. Anybody who you give the Social Security account number to can access your trust. They all do it. They all access your trust. You go to the hospital, they're going to create 3 bonds against the bill. They're going to hit your trust for the bill, and then they're going to create 3 bonds against the charge. And then your insurance company's going to pay them back. Right? It's quadruple dipping.
All right.
They can do it.
Yeah.
So listen, we do have a lot of other people waiting in line. Mm-hmm. So thank you very much for calling.
It was nice talking to us.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Daniel Sherbs, you're next.
Hi, Chris. This is Elasa on Daniel's phone. I have a question, 2 questions. There's a guy on the group who is willing in Florida to do like a pilot program. He has a finance company that he's switching gears after finding your process, or not your process, but the 1099 process, and helping people buy houses. So my situation is that we're behind on our mortgage for a few months, and I was going to do the 1099A, send it to the mortgage company. And my thought today was, well, maybe I'll have my partner buy the house from me and using the 1099A with this guy Chuck on the group, and then, receive the funds and pay off the house and put it in his name, my partner's name.
Okay. Are you and your partner married?
No.
Do you and your partner have a marriage license from the state?
No.
Pardon me?
We have a child
then
together.
It's possible. Yeah, then it's possible. A lot of people have that question. Can I sell this car to my wife for $100,000? And the car's probably only worth about $30,000. You can't. The two shall become one. That's what the scripture says, and that's also what the state says. When you get married, it's your trusts that are getting married. The two trusts shall become one. That's why you can't do this with a married couple can't do this. But you, ma'am, and your partner there, you're not married. You can go
on the loan
at least
together.
Not. Okay, so you're on the loan together.
We're on the loan together. So
yeah,
I was just feeling like if this, trustee, finance guy, he's acting as trustee fiduciary, and my partner's buying the house from me, and we get rid of the loan.
Yeah, I would try it. I really would. Look, y'all, I hear new stuff all the time, and this is it. This is something new. Try it.
Right.
What's the worst? Here's the worst thing that's going to happen. If you try something with these forms and you fail, they're going to send them all back to you, and they're going to say, "Don't do this again."
Right.
As far as I know, nobody's ever filed with the Treasury, and for the first time, and not been given that grace. They will tell you, "Look, don't do this again." They'll say, "This is a frivolous filing," or whatever the case may be, and then they'll tell you, "Don't do it again." That's how you get your toes in the water with this thing. Yeah, if there's something new, try it. Try it, man.
Because how do they know?
Yeah.
I mean, if I was buying a house from somewhere else, it's in the description of the house, but there's not a lot of things connecting. So
I don't think it would matter.
Yeah. The other question is when we get it paid for, getting the allodial title. Any suggestions on that? So that
you
can put
do
it in
that.
the trust.
You can do the allodial. You can do the allodial titles if you want. If you say you're gonna your partner there is going to give you a 1099-A, and then you're going to file, and then you're going to get the check. You're going to roll up into the bank, and you're going to pay off the mortgage or whatever's owed on it. And so what you're going to do is, who's the deed in? Is it in both your names?
Yeah, it's in both our names.
Okay, you're going to need to get that out of there. How old's your child?
11.
Okay. Is there anybody that you know that you really trust?
Yeah.
Okay, what you're going to do is get with these people, whoever it is that you really trust, folks, and listen, do not do this with somebody that you have even an inkling of doubt, because they will own your house. What you do is you sell it to them for either 21 silver dollars. What I did on the first video is he sold me his property for two $20 gold pieces. Now, he never gave me those, okay? It's just, that's what it says on the contract. Then get a contract. You can download them, a template for a bill of sale, a property bill of sale. A lot of times they have different ones for each state. So if you're living in Tennessee, you go in and find a template for a bill of sale for property in the state of Tennessee or whatever. And then you just modify that. And in the purchase price, you put 21 silver dollars or, 21 gold dollars, however you want to do it. And you write it. You write it down. 20, DWEN, 1, ONE, and then silver dollars. That's your purchase price. And by doing that, when, say you sell it to someone that way, and the tax bill comes, the property tax, well, you're going to take it down, like Everett did. He wanted to pay it for last year. He didn't have to. He could have just went down there and said, look, I sold this property to this dude right here. Here's the contract. You want to make a copy of it? Go right ahead. But by selling it to me, he took it out of registration, or it was taken out of registration, because it belongs to me now, and I don't go register it. Now, because I don't go register it, and I have a contract with him that says he no longer owns it, he can't be held responsible for the taxes. You can't tax me for a piece of land I don't own. Right?
Right.
Well, who owns it? Well, Christopher Hauser owns it. Oh, okay. Well, let's go after him. You ain't getting shit from me, guy, because I ain't registered it. Right? And they can't make you register the property. So as that, they will get that down there in the county records. They'll say, hey, this dude here just bought this land. He's got a contract with gold and silver coins. It's constitutional, and he's not coming down here to register a deed. What do? Here's what they do. They black out your property.
Mm.
If you go down here to my county, here in Tennessee, and you go into the courthouse, and you say, I want to see this property number on the map, on the county map. I want to see this property number, and you read them the number to the piece of land that I own, 4.5 acres, up on Bull Mountain Road, and you go in there. The map is set out with black boundary lines for the property, and then there's a black square, black rectangle, with the number of the property, the parcel number in it. Well, when you go down there now, and instead of being black, lined in with black, the whole piece of property is black. And there's a little white box in the middle with the property number in it. That's because it was taken out of the county. The county no longer owns it. So once you go down there and you tell them that, they'll turn around and they'll take your property off the county map. It'll still be on there, but they'll black it out. Then the next year, you have them sell that right back to you with their contract. Now you have a contract owning the land, and you don't register it. Okay?
Yep.
That's what I would, if this goes down for you, that's how I would do the land, or anybody else. I buy cars that way too. 21 silver dollars.
All right,
and then you don't register it.
So does that answer your question, ma'am?
Yeah, it does answer the question. I just have one more thing to say.
Very quickly, because we do have a lot of people waiting.
With the trust, was talking to the realtor. You don't need a down payment because it's a trust. You don't carry that. You got to point it to the trustee, and you don't need proof of funds because it's a trust. I just want to remind everybody that. And I've talked to some realtors and they get it because they know trust law.
Yeah.
And then the other thing was we had caught something. Just you guys remember when you're if you have to remind someone of sending the 1040V and the 1096, they will go to different addresses than the Treasury for some states. Just to remind everybody. And that was it. Thanks, Chris.
All right. Thanks a lot. Thanks for calling.
Okay, Lucy, you're next. Your phone just...
Hi, thank you. This is a returning fan. I'm going to make this really short and quick. Mindy was talking about, I guess, filing a cease and desist or serving it on the parties that are causing her so much turmoil. I downloaded it on the Telegram app. It's called the COL, and in there it's deprivation of rights acting under the color of law. So I downloaded a template for everybody.
Okay, thank you.
So if Mindy is still on, she can pull that up. If not, I can re-download it tonight and she can look for it.
All right, appreciate it, Lucy.
Thank you.
No problem.
Amanda, you're next when your phone unmutes.
Hey, I appreciate y'all putting this call on. I just have one question. It's pretty simple and quick. We have got a realtor that has sent the 1099 OID, the 1099A and the 1099 OID and all the forms. Anyway, whenever we sent when the CPA did the 1099 OID, she put in the amount in the box 8 only. And we're trying to figure out what we need to do. Should we wait on the Treasury to contact us back, to contact the point of contact? Or should we okay, just wait on them to contact?
Yeah, I would. Or, because, see, this is, let them do it. And they'll tell you whether it's wrong or not. I always put it in box 1 and box 8. On that. If there's anything wrong, they'll fix it or they'll flag it. And if it's wrong, they'll send it back and they'll say, well, wait a minute, you got to have it in here too. That's how we were doing it in prison when I was doing the habeas corpus. I would write a habe and I'd send it in for someone, or they would send it in, and then it would come back. Oh, well, you can't do that here. You have to do it over here. Or this has to be in there. And by trial and error, we perfected the habe. Yeah, it was crazy the way that finally ended up working out. Yeah, they had to address it in a lot of cases.
Will it delay the process very much? Or?
It shouldn't. Anytime they do something, it's about 2 or 3 weeks. I tell everybody, it's 45 days. Not necessarily. They could have it done in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4.
Right.
It's just that 45 is generally a good give it as long as it goes kind of thing. They usually have anything done in 45 days.
Okay.
But I'd send it in like that,
We did.
If they send it back, they'll send it back to amend it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
If they send it back, they'll send it back to have it amended.
Okay.
Which is good because it's a go-ahead. It's going to tell this real estate agent, well, hell, all we got to do really is do in box 1 and box 8. You know what I mean?
Right.
Oh, we got this. We got this now. Oh, we're going to sell a bunch of houses.
Right, exactly. That's exactly what she knows. She knows that there's others that's behind me that's coming for houses. So that's why she's so excited to do it. We looked up. But that was my question, and I appreciate you answering it for me.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much for calling.
Okay, caller in Philadelphia, when your phone unmutes, it's your turn.
Oh, lovely. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, go right ahead.
Okay, thank you. Chris, I'm one of the women that has typed you a book in an email. So I'm going to be really quick because I do see how everyone would like to speak. So my property is going up for sheriff's sale next Thursday. And our bank account has been tampered with. My husband was taken through the IRS last July. And that night, even someone got into the account and started making purchases and sending us gifts. And I have traffic tickets, and I have a lot of loans that are in default now through, my husband was handling everything. And even our car insurance was dropped because of everything that's going on with him through the IRS. My question here is, what do I do? I mean, is it possible for me to sell the property? Because I thought that was a great idea. And it was brought up to me earlier today about that. So is it still possible for me to sell the property for the 21 pieces of silver to someone, even though the sheriff's sale is right now?
Yeah. So the house has it foreclosed? Has it foreclosed?
Yes. I mean, that's why if there's a sheriff's sale on the 24th.
Yeah. I just want to make sure. Well, someone else has recently had, the sheriff was supposed to come out and the thing wasn't even dated, so the order wasn't even dated, so that's why I was asking. You're in a situation right now where you could try to sell it, you could, but you're in a situation right now. You're so far gone into it. You know what I mean? You're so deep into it. They're about to steal your property. The last ditch effort that I try to bring people up on is a UCC1. Put a lien on it. Put a $1 million lien on your $200,000 home. Then they can't sell it until they pay you.
Okay, I've never done UCC1.
They may run.
So I will.
They may run you out.
Okay.
They may run you out, but they can't sell it till they pay you. Look, folks, the UCC1 is easy to do. It's pretty self-explanatory. You go to your Secretary of the State's website and you put in UCC, and then you're going to have all the different UCCs come up. A UCC1 is a notice of claim of lien. Okay, fill out the squares or the all the information that's in it. Put your name in with the hyphens and the colons and everything, and beneficiary, where it says last name, put comma beneficiary. Okay, and then put $1 million lien on your home. They can't sell that. If the house owes you more money than the bank claims that you owed them for, before they get paid, you get paid. That's the way liens work. And I would, that's the last ditch effort. There's been so many people call, hey man, I'm about to get foreclosed on. What do I do? There's not a lot you can do, but the UCC1 is. You'll have a claim of lien against that house. This house owes me. I lived in this house. I took care of this house. My time is very valuable. I've tallied it up, and the house owes me $1 million. You're going to pay me first.
Okay.
Some folks have done this and the thing about the UCC1 is once you file it, it's in 5 years it'll be removed. So if you do this and you get to stay in your house and the bank just says, oh well, we're screwed, you remember to do this every 5 years, or if you forget after 5 years, and they're going to slip in there and they're going to snatch your house up.
Okay. I'm going to study trust law.
Thing,
Thank you.
Yeah, that's
I have one more question. Ted,
okay.
Yes.
How do I join? Because, again, our bank account, every time I try to bring it into balance, there are miscellaneous fees and things like that comes up and purchases. So that's a wash. I am unable to use our account in order to sign up.
Okay.
What are your other options?
So are you signing up for the mailing list? Mailing list is free. The mailing list is free. If you want to sign up for the monthly membership, remember, these recordings are free. I have them hosted at TalkShoe for the moment. But for my monthly membership, where I have these same calls broken down, if that's what you want and you're having problems, contact me through the website, and we'll get together and figure something out.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, too.
Yeah, good luck with it. Go get him, Tiger.
All right. Let's see. Hamilton, Montana, when your phone unmutes, it's your turn.
Oh, my gosh. I'm so excited to get on. Hi. I am Amy, and
Hello.
I'm actually – hi. I love listening to you, by the way. You're so down to earth and so understanding, and, yeah, anyways. Got all sorts of friends listening and watching your YouTube videos as well. Anyhow, I'm in all sorts of pickles. I'll start with my most important one. The reason why I get referred to you is I'm on a private member association. He's like, go watch these videos regarding my custody situation. I ended up firing my third lawyer. I've always felt that something was really off when it came to lawyers. I always felt like, why can't I do this for myself? I just don't understand. They say one thing, and in court they always do the exact opposite. They don't actually represent me. Mm-hmm. So in last year, I filed to leave Alaska, because I'm actually living in Alaska, to go back down to Montana. And I also put in a motion to limit contact with my ex's fiance, who has since lost custody of her kids, but now she has moved out. Anyways, that was denied, and then they ordered a custody investigator, and I fired my lawyer, and I'm wondering how I can use conditional acceptance in this regard. And it's like, I just can't, everything else makes sense, like the house, the car, the situations you were in, but I'm like, how can I use this in a custody situation? Because this judge has not listened to me before, and 3 years ago made awful rulings. Just would like to close up shop and get out of the courts.
Yeah. I don't deal with courts. I don't.
Okay.
They're all a big scam. There's you can challenge the jurisdiction. If you don't like what's going on in court or the tribunal, if you don't like what's going on in there and you don't want to be no part of it, then challenge the jurisdiction, because they don't have it. So many of y'all go, I had a lawyer and I've had 4 lawyers. I fired 4 lawyers. Well, that's the first mistake. It is like you said. You can go in there and you can do it yourself. In propria persona. Don't go in there. Don't go in there in pro se. Never go in pro se. Always in propria persona, and only to challenge the jurisdiction. Pardon me?
Do I have to change that, because I did let go of my lawyer and he removed himself? So now it just says self-represented. So do I need to make an affidavit or a declaration saying I'm
represented? Yeah. When you say I'm representing, you're representing. Okay.
I know. Yes.
So you're presenting yourself wearing the mask of your. That's what self-representation is. You're presenting you're wearing your persona. What you do is you go in and you say, look, I'm going to make this very clear. I am not here to represent myself, nor is anyone representing me. I am here in propria persona. I am here in proper person. When you say that, you're the only one who is in proper person. Okay? All the other players are representing something. The judge is representing the court. The prosecutor is representing the people. You see what I'm saying? Or the state. Let's say the state. They're all representing. When you're in propria persona, you're the only human. You can actually take control of the court when you're in that position because you're the only human, and humans have authority over positions. You can do that. Anybody can do that. You don't like what's going on, you don't want to play their game, here's what I'm here to do. I'm here to challenge the jurisdiction because none of them have it. None of them. None of them have. The freaking Supreme Court of the United States does not have jurisdiction over you. It only has jurisdiction over the trust. And it only has it if you allow it to happen. Why? Because you're the beneficiary. So you can do that, and you can also do the conditional acceptance. You can do the conditional acceptance, and when they try and force you in there to make you do what they want you to do, that's when you say, hey, first off, let's get something straight. I am here by special appearance and to challenge the jurisdiction, and I am in propria persona. When you do that, it's time to vacate the room, everybody. I'm the only human here. They don't have it. And when you all continue to talk to these lawyers and let these lawyers move for you, you shouldn't even put papers into the court. Well, should I file this affidavit for this or affidavit for that? Do I need to do this writ for this or this writ for that? Look, anytime you put papers into the court, you're asking the court to move. You heard me use the word asking, okay?
Yeah.
You're asking permission for the court to move. That grants jurisdiction. That's why it's always better to go in person, the proper person, and to do that. If you do a conditional acceptance, you shouldn't even be going in there. You know what I'm saying?
And how would I?
The other question.
How would I serve that? How would I serve that? So we have a pretrial hearing that's supposedly on the 24th, and they have not approved my motion to get rid of the custody investigator. I think I should just make a motion to close the case because I'm originally the person that made the petition, and then go for conditional acceptance and make judicial complaints and all the other.
Well, if they close the case, then there's nothing to conditionally accept. If they go in there and they do what they do, there will be no reason to conditionally accept. You got to remember, conditional acceptance is the offer. You know what I mean? When the offer is made, then you can conditionally accept it. If you go in there and you say, "I want you to do this," and they say, "Okay," well, there's no offer to conditionally accept. If you had a conditional acceptance and you had everyone served, you can go in there and say, I don't know why we're even in here. All y'all owe me money. It's in the best interest that you cease and desist right now before this gets worse and I got to give you another one, like Mindy's getting ready to do. Give them another one.
Her story is awesome.
Yeah.
I guess I just have that disconnect from, they haven't approved my motion to drop the custody investigator. I'm the one that made the motion to modify custody and to move. And there's no orders. There's no judge saying you can or can't move. There's nothing. It just feels like it's up in the air and nobody's saying anything. So I just don't know what to make my conditional acceptance about. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. If you're the one that initiated all this, you ought to be able to go in and say, look, I want to drop this altogether. And it should be dropped. Because you're the one that asked the court to move in the first place. But if you want to conditionally accept them, go in. If you want to go in there and say, look, I'm the one that initiated all this. I want it all dropped right now. And they don't do it. Then you can walk out and conditionally accept. These guys made me an offer. These guys made me an offer not to do what they're supposed to do. That's how that would work.
And I have a feeling
Did
that's
that
what
answer
they'll
your
do.
question?
They'll want to keep us in there. Yeah, that makes sense because they'll want to keep us in court because we're whatever. He's a pharmacist, and
if they want to do that, if they want to do that, you might could drop this. If you go in there and you say, I want this dropped, and they say, well, we're not going to drop it. Are you making me an offer that I can conditionally accept?
Okay.
And when they look at you kind of funny, you say, yeah, that's what I said. Are you making me an offer that I can conditionally accept now? Man, even cops have got that. These freaking dumbass cops. Are you making me an offer that I can conditionally accept? That's how I'd put it to them if they didn't dismiss it.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Whoops. Probably just a little too soon. King Daniel, or Daniel King. King Daniel, you're next.
Hey, y'all. Can y'all hear me?
We can hear you, y'all.
Yeah, we can hear you, Your Highness. We hear you, Your Highness.
Hey, my name is Pam. It is a pleasure to meet you, and both of you. Thank you for what you're doing. I got a quick question for you. I'm a private person. I'm a private person on paper, and I keep hearing the reference about UCC. Is it necessary for us to, put our toe in the water in their world in order to do this process?
If you're talking about the conditional acceptance, no, it's not. You don't need to use the UCC. It's a commercial thing. It's just like using the courts. The courts are commercial. Matter of fact, the courts and the banks both fall under the UCC. They all fall under the guidelines of the UCC. You don't have to use the UCC. We used them back then because the UCC1 was a notice of lien. You can lien somebody without a UCC1. We just did it because it was the quickest way to get their attention. If you do a conditional acceptance and you create the claim of lien and you create the assignment and you send it all in the contract to the Treasury is going to take those lien securities and turn them over to the IRS for collection. The IRS is going to take their way around and take the money from everyone's trust, and then they're going to send it to the Treasury. The Treasury is going to get their take, and they're probably going to put your take into your trust or send it to you according to the language of the contract. But when you do the UCC1, it notices them right away. For instance, I did 4 judges, 5 actually, 4 circuit and 1 session. I did that to them, and I did the UCCs. What we did is we sent them the claim, we sent them the conditional acceptance. They more than likely threw them over the corner. Oh, this is bullshit. And they threw it over in the corner, and they left it. Well, your 10 days are up, bud. Well, now we're going to the Secretary of the State's office because the UCC is operated through each state, okay? All states have adopted the UCC. All of them have. Most countries have. What they'll do is you do the UCC1. You pay for it. In Tennessee, they're $15 each. You pay for them with your credit card, and then they email you the UCC. Then you can print it out. But what happens is every month or 2, whatever the case may be, those UCCs get reported to their credit report. Okay? Now, all of a sudden, they're going down here to buy a house or buy a new car, and the banks are going, or the finance company's going, we can't loan you $60,000 for this car. You owe this guy $12 million. Yeah, it shows up on your credit report. When you do a UCC1, when you do a UCC1, like we did, folks, it shows up on their credit report, and they won't get so much of a toothpick on credit.
Let me tell you, about 12 years ago, I was following Tim Turner, and I did his negative averment, and I did a UCC1 in Washington, and I named a law firm, about 3 law firms in Portland, and I was served papers because they wanted to remove the UCC1, and in their papers, this law firm was crying. They said, we went to buy computers on credit, and we couldn't because of this UCC lien. And then my former employer, they were notified by their bank that they had a lien against their bank account, and I don't know if they were notified or if the account was actually frozen.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, you file something on the UCC, it makes the rounds. It'll get there.
Well, but, and I just wanted to say, I typed up all of Tim Turner stuff. That's a lot of stuff. But I don't want to operate in the UCC world, and there has to be a workaround around it. Say that again so everybody can hear, Chris.
You don't have to.
Right.
You don't have to do anything in the UCC. You can do the claim of lien and send it right to the Treasury. Here you go. Now, if you're wanting to seek vengeance on these people that wronged you, then you can do the UCC ones. Personally, I don't care, because what I want to do is get you to stop doing what the criminal shit you're doing is. If you got me in your circuit court and you got blah 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 on me, I want you to stop that, and the only way I can do that is to bias you through the conditional acceptance. If you want to, and they were doing this in prison, they were taking it no farther. Now they're actually doing the contracts with the Treasury from the prison. But a lot of them were doing the conditional acceptance just to get the prison to stop doing what they were doing. Once they seen how it worked and the prison stopped, well, I don't care. I had actually people tell me, I don't care about $12 million. I was like, man, are you nuts? You don't want this? No. I just wanted them to send me to a different prison, and the warden just asked me today, what prison do I want to go to? Okay. You don't want the money? All right. I'm not going out of my way. You don't want it? That's fine. But people actually do that. I just want them to stop. I want them to stop foreclosing on my house. I want them to stop this child support issue. I want them to stop this, whatever, misdemeanors or whatever. Can I do that? Yes, you can. You don't have to take it any farther than to do the conditional acceptance on the court because they owe you. You don't have to send it in a contract to the Treasury, and get paid. You don't have to do that. They're going to stop just by getting the document. Mindy's probably going to find that out real soon when they try and bring her in there, because she knows now. She can go in there and go, what are we here for? I can only naturally assume that you're ready to settle this conditional acceptance. I guess you brought me in here because you're ready to pay me $3 million, right? Because other than that, I ain't got no other business in here. They can't move on you. They owe you money. But you don't have to. You don't have to use the UCC at all.
Well, and I appreciate that, but are you saying that the only way we can really go after them if they refuse the conditional the Treasury's going to fight really the conditional acceptance, but I'm trying to think if there's any other reason why we would really have to. The only other what you're saying, and just to clarify, and maybe I have this incorrect, but if there is other things that need to go on, then we're going to be the ones to push it rather than maybe I'm misunderstanding that.
Okay. If you don't want to use the UCC, you can do the conditional acceptance and force their hand. That's what you're doing with it. If you want to take it all the way to the top, send it to the Treasury. Get your money. But I understand. I understand where you're coming from. You don't want to get into the commercial aspect of the UCC. I didn't want to when we were doing this in 2014 and 15. I said, I don't think we need to do this. We can do this without that. Yeah, but if we do this, it'll hit them right away. It'll hit them in their back pocket. And I seen that. I seen a court clerk, lose her house. She probably had $300,000, $400,000 in, because she couldn't make up the payments and she couldn't sell it. It will get them, but it's already got them when it biases them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get that. And I'm going to let you go, but I did just send you an email just in regards to the lady who got so emotional earlier. Yeah, I'm working on some different humanitarian projects all around the world that all I'm waiting for. I'm kind of like her. I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for everything to open up, and it is, and this is part of it. And I just want to thank you. You are part of this really provision for everything that has been done to all of us all of these years. And I tip my hat to you in much, much respect.
Well, thank you very much. Peace and blessings, good sister.
Thank you. Okay. Kenny Andrew, you're next.
Hey, can you hear me, Chris?
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, loud and clear.
Hey, it's your new greenhorn friend, Andrew, from email. You might recognize me. But, hey, man, I got a couple questions. I don't want to hog the floor and make a filibuster here.
All right.
So my first question is, I went to college. I got loans through the government. I worked my ass off as a valet in sub-zero temperatures making tips. I paid off $20,000 in 12 months, but I didn't realize I was getting coupons. So I kind of want to, I only got about $4,700 left to pay off. Instead of just overlooking the crime, I'd kind of like to get my cheese back.
I hear you. Yeah, I hear you.
Go ahead.
I was wondering about that. I got mine completely wiped out. I didn't pay the first dime back on any of them, $27,000, because I learned how to buck the system. But my situation is unique. And I was thinking as another lady was talking to me about this, and when you pay out like that, you've already paid them. You could do the 1099-A, or you can send them the coupon. Just send them a coupon with the number in it. Send it to them. See what happens. Put them in that position. But I was also thinking, I wonder what would happen. Like, say you got $4,800 left, and you paid $20,000.
Well, over $20,000. I just paid off $20,000 in a year, but yeah. You know what I'm saying? If you went back and you looked at what the total amount was, I wonder what would happen if you sent in the coupon. If you only owed $4,800, but you sent in a coupon for $29,000, would they credit it back to you? You mean in the bottom? Are you talking about in the bottom? Like on the front, I write in, $29,000 or whatever, and then you put the beneficiary endorsement on the back. Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, and then
I wonder. I always told people, what does the statement say? Well, the statement says $4,825. then you put that in the box, and then you send it in. That will zero out the account. But I always kind of thought, or I have been thinking for the last little while, what would happen if you put the total amount in there of everything you paid? Would they send you a check? Would they send you a check for it all? I don't know. Everything's worth a shot.
Absolutely.
You might have something.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, I was going to say, I'm going to try that. My next question is, I'm looking to build a house now that I'm a king with the 1099A. And, you know, I know you said that people that are married, their trust or, joined. My dad's been a painting contractor and a light carpentry self-contractor for like the last 30 years. Can I submit a 1099A to him? The only question or concern I think might have with that is because we have the same last family name, and I guess I would be the property or the offspring of his trust. Would that raise a red flag, or should I get some, and then my next question to that would be, okay, let's say I can give him a 1099A, my dad a 1099A to build me a house, and then he would find me subcontractors, to finish it off. Can I do it trust to trust, so from my SS to his SS? Or would it be better if he had an EIN? What would I put down on the 1099A, or would it be better to just get a different person altogether?
No, you can. I don't care if you're a junior and he's a senior. You're not married. It's two different trusts.
Right.
So and they're not combined. We were speaking to somebody here not too long ago. It was a gal, and she had a couple children, and her dad was a contractor. She was like, I was looking at 10 acres of land, and I was going to have my dad build houses for me and my two children. Is that doable? Are you going to pay your dad with the 1099? Yes, you could do the turnkey deal. You want everything from the landscaping to the appliances to the furniture. You could have your dad pick it all out and then figure out what the total cost is and then mark it up by 20%.
That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to. Yep. He's in his early 60s, and I just basically wanted to give him a nice retirement check from the U.S. Treasury.
Yeah, man.
Okay, and then my next question is, I'm in communication with my landlord about using a 1099A to satisfy the obligation of my rent. Her only hesitation is because I'm not actually acquiring the property permanently. I'm just kind of renting it, that's why she's hesitant. She doesn't want to do it. She talked to her accountant, and her accountant goes, well, I've never heard anything about that before, but what would be your best course of action in that? Because technically I'm not buying the house. I'm just kind of renting it, for a year. And I told her, hey, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, you're the beneficiary. Is it in the beneficiary's best interest to have his rent paid for the length of the obligation?
Yep.
A lot of people have asked me. Yeah, a lot of people have asked me the other day. Yeah, a lot of people have asked me, can I use a 1099A to pay my rent? Yes, you can. Can you get the landlord to accept it? Tell them, they're like, well, do I have to do this every month? I wouldn't. I would say, what's the extent of the lease? How long do you got? 18 months left or what? Pay it for the next 18 months. If you want to move into an apartment and sign a new lease, well, what's it going to cost? What if I got to sign a 2-year lease? What's 24 months going to cost me? Here it is. It's all right here. And then you've paid your lease or your rent.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's what I told her the other day. She called me and she goes, well, I've been talking with my accountant and he doesn't know about that. It kind of sounds a little sketchy. And I said, ma'am, you took my Social Security number when I applied for this to live at this place. I said, you have a fiduciary obligation. I said, you might not know this. She goes, well, I've been renting houses for 20 years. I said, well, I understand, but, you know, you have a fiduciary obligation because you took my trust number. I said, you're a trustee. This is a trust action. And I just basically gave it to her over the phone. And so basically the only thing I'm waiting on right now is I'm trying to get some 1099A forms, but they're on back order with the IRS, and Office Depot and Office Max are all sold out of the triple carbon copies. So
yeah. Well, look, guys, this happens every year. Okay? Don't think because of what I've been telling, people's ordering them like crazy and they can't keep them. This happens every year. This is the beginning of the tax season. Everybody's scrambling to get their tax documents together. A lot of people are having a hard time. They'll go into the IRS's website and they'll look for the 1099A and they will not find them. Look, if you need a 1099A or OIDs or any of that, what you do is you go in and you do a Google search. Hey, Google, how do I order IRS business forms? If you put that question into Google, it will take you straight to the IRS's website where you can order all kinds of business forms. You'll not find that if you just go straight to the IRS and put in 1099A. You may or may not find that link. But
yeah,
you will if you
I already
say,
got I ordered some from the IRS, and they sent me a little postcard in the mail. They said, you know, we were unable to process your order because we're basically on back order, but we'll get back to you. You know? So.
Yeah, you don't have to order anymore because we got you on, and they do. Believe me, you all. I got one of those too. Except mine said Christopher -Allen Hauser, comma BENE period.
Ooh. Yeah, that was the only thing that I didn't put my name as the beneficiary when I went to go order them, but yeah.
Well, think about that, folks. If you go to the IRS and you order these forms and you put beneficiary in there after your last name, the IRS is agreeing that you are a beneficiary of the trust.
Ooh.
You see what I'm saying?
Powerful.
You can actually, absolutely. You can turn around with that card. I got it, and I was like, yeah, I kind of figured that was going to happen. The only reason I got that card is because someone had said, I can't find the forms. So I went in and found the forms. And I said, well, I'm in here. I might as well order some. And I ordered them, and I got the card back. I said, well, I'm gonna see if it'll come back beneficiary. And it did. It came back beneficiary. So they're agreeing that I am the beneficiary of the trust that they are sending the forms to.
One quick question. I don't want to. Yeah, one more question. How do I make a current bank account? How do I turn it into a beneficiary account? Or would it be better to just make a new account?
It's always better to go to a new bank and make a new account. But look, y'all.
Okay.
If you have a regular bank account and you start signing checks with a beneficiary signature,
have to deposit.
Take pictures.
Yep.
Deposit a check. When you take your work check in there from your business, sign it with a beneficiary signature, and they're cashing them. There's depositing them. If you're making your car payment or your house payment or whatever, and you're signing that check, beneficiary, and they are actually transacting business and agreeing to that. And you have
tacit agreement,
even though the signature. Yeah, absolutely. And you get by with that. You may get by with that for 6 months or so, and then someone's going to notice it, and they're going to go, "Whoa, wait a minute, this guy signed a beneficiary." Well, they've already honored the checks. A lot of times when people get in there and they catch this right away, they'll go, "Well, we can't do this. We can't honor these. We can't accept a deposit and all the banking stuff that you normally do, they'll shut you down quick. But you got to remember, they've already accepted it. The minute the lady at the bank takes the signature card from you, I always put the money on top of the signature card when you hand it to them. That way they're not seeing the signature. All they're seeing is the Benjamins. And and they'll always overlook that. Don't let them watch you sign it, and put the money over the top of it. And then once you hand it, they've accepted it. Oh, well, we can't accept this signature. What do you mean? You already have.
Genius.
So,
okay, and then how do you enforce that?
Hey, look, if they try to mess with you after you do that, put a conditional acceptance on them, the CEO of the business, everybody.
CEO of Wells Fargo, CEO of Wells Fargo, CEO of U.S. Bank.
Yeah,
straight
U.S.
to the top.
Bank, whatever. Yep. You put them on there. Hey, look at your bank account is a beneficiary account. You went in there. I don't care how old you got a bank account that's 20 years old. Did you go in there and give them your Social Security?
It is about 20 years old. Actually, it's about 22 years old.
And if you put your Social Security number on their application, it is a beneficiary account. And the only difference is now they have to recognize it. They have to recognize you as the beneficiary.
Yeah, they can't.
They don't like to do that.
Yep.
All right. So does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. You're the man,
thank
Chris.
you.
Love you, bro. Thank you.
All right, brother.
Okay, we're going to have one more, and then we're going to call it a night. Jacksonville, Florida. Go ahead. Jacksonville, are you asleep? It is East Coast time. Hello, Jacksonville, you're unmuted. Okay. Okay, so much for Jacksonville. Anna Chilaki.
Hey,
Go ahead,
sorry,
Anna.
it was under this. I have a question. I had done quite a few conditional acceptances, got everyone good and defaulted, and even gone as far as getting maybe 20 or 30 notary certificates of dishonor. I figured that was good enough to get started, and then upon filing UCC-1s, didn't really get any attention with any of that, actually. So I was kind of told through a little bit of research that the UCC-3 is the way to actually go and enforce it, and that they, whoever it was that I put as a debtor may not even really get notice, even though I sent them ample notice. I even filed it into court cases. But basically, I've just decided to put a stop on it till I get some more research done, and I've got to really go through your videos. But I'm curious, what's the best way to be sure that that the opposing party knows? Because in some cases, you're right. I heard what you said about the law firm, how they reacted to it. And there's one law firm I definitely could do for over $20 million, and it's bona fide.
Yeah, you can. The UCC3s. Okay, we use the UCC1s, and then what we did is we used the 3s as they're an assignment document. Okay, well that's what we use them as. Actually, they're amendments, is what they are. The UCC3 is an amendment. We took the UCC1s, and once you file the UCC1, they give you numbers. That UCC1 has its own instrument numbers. But you take those instrument numbers and you attach them to the UCC3. And it's what you're doing is you're amending the lien, or the notice of lien. You're amending it to give it to the Treasury. That's how we did it. I don't know exactly how you're using your 3s. If you want to get their attention, like say, Well, I don't know if they got served this thing. I don't know if they got this thing served on them. How do I know that that what I did is put the pinch on them? Here's how you make sure of that. You send it to them certified mail, return receipt. And when you guys do these things like this, when you send the letters to the bill, the finance companies, the bill collectors, and stuff like that, when you write that letter, talking about the coupon or whatnot, you're going to put the postal rule in that letter. You're going to notarize it, and in that letter that you create to the CEO or whoever, the lawyer, the law firm, you're going to put it in there. Look, this is a contract. By the postal rule, this is a common law contract. You agree that you have accepted this. Yeah. Then you got a contract. Not only do I know these guys got this, I know that they know it's a contract. And that would be the way to make sure that they were notified. The summons step here is a notice. You know what I mean?
I know they are notified because I filed them into multiple court cases.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
so
what you're looking
for,
for
a little bit harder.
Yeah, what you're really looking for is a reaction out of them, not whether or not they've been noticed. You want to see them react. Well, a lot of them lawyers won't because they think, well, if I just shut up and don't say nothing, this will all go away. It doesn't. But they're not going to stir the pot. I better not let this guy know that I'm scared, because once that goes down, everybody's going to scare us.
And now I got to really go back.
That's what happened.
I made my own prices, based on some of the stuff I was studying. I said, any bar attorney, because I disqualify him real quick, put him in default. But any bar attorney that wants to mess with me, since it's treasonous, I've just put a nice surrender clause and set my price real high. And, they shut up really quick at the very least, but doesn't mean I necessarily ring the bell. But even with, bar grievances, all that stuff.
Yeah, that's a good indication you hit them. It's hard to get a lawyer to shut up.
I'll put it this way. It didn't stop the repo, but we're still in arbitration for that. I'm just a little surprised they're not in a hurry to settle on that either.
Yeah, they're probably waiting. Time heals all wounds.
Well, I'll file out UC3 because I had never done that before. I'm going to go through everything, study it up. Thanks so much for everything you post. And
man.
I'll be looking out for the next call because I don't know you did these.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right, brother. Have a good night.
Okay, so you guys, again, go to youhavetheright.com, sign up on our mailing list so that you can stay informed with these meetings. I have not sent out any notices for the last couple of weeks because we've been working out some email issues. I think we got them worked out tonight. I'm going to send out a mailing probably tomorrow, and we'll find out. If so, then you'll be getting notices every week of when we do these calls and other updates. I'll also send out a link to the recordings at TalkShoe for right now until I get the YouTube set up. When I get that set up, then I'll just put them on YouTube. And also, again, I'm taking these calls and I'm breaking them down by subject, and I have a membership for that. Otherwise, these calls are free and everything about it is free, but the membership is just something I asked for, and it helps me to put on these calls and to support Chris. So if you can do that, I'd appreciate it. Chris, thank you very much.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us.
So hang on the line here when we're done. Everybody, thank you very much, and we'll see you next week. Good.